Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. How are you? It's good to see you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. It's Saturday. Lori's on some shenanigans, but before we get to Lori's shenanigans, we need to get to Taylor Shabusiness shenanigans now. I know that I promised you guys last night that I would go live. I deeply, deeply apologize for that. Let me tell you what happened. We all went out to dinner together. It was me and my husband and my daughter and my son-in-law and my grandbaby. And we had such a fantastic time. And so then my daughter and my son-in-law went out and I was in charge. So I thought, well, I better, Livy wasn't quite ready for bed. So time got away, that old chestnut. So, but I'm here this morning. We're going to talk real briefly about Miss Taylor Shabusiness and what she pulled yesterday. And the thing of it is about Taylor, I actually feel badly for Taylor. I think that Taylor is actually not well. I think Taylor actually needs a lot of help. Does that mean that she shouldn't be held accountable for her crime? Absolutely not. She needs to be held accountable for her crime. And the fact that she's in a controlled environment and yet she is able to do the things that she's like what she's about to pull today or yesterday, what she pulled yesterday, tells me that she continues to be a danger to society. So Taylor had a preliminary hearing yesterday morning. She attacked an officer at Taichida, which is where she's being housed. And so this is a pretrial hearing, basically to talk about, all of that. And the last hearing that she had on this, her attorney wanted her evaluated for competency. So let's watch, and then we'll get right into what you really came here for, which is Lori. All right, here we go. As you can see, Taylor did not come in all sunshine and roses. That hairdo to me reminds me of Rainbow Bright without all the colors.
For sequestration, but that may be a moot point.
All right.
It is one witness, Your Honor.
We're off the record.
Now, I feel like that is absolutely indicative of her being ill, and the attorney at the end who just put his hands up, I think he's aware. This is why he wanted her evaluated in the first place, because she ain't right. Now, I'm about 97% sure that what she hollered was WrestleMania. I'm not going to do what I did. I took one for the team. I watched this over and over and over, and I did it on slow motion. And when you do it on slow motion, you can hear her say WrestleMania. All right, we're going to watch it one more time, and then we're going to get to Lori.
And Judge, it sounds like just one witness. We're asking for sequestration, but that may be a moot point.
All right.
It is one witness, Your Honor.
All right. I feel sorry for Taylor. I do. Something is just, yes, she did. She did, Laura, sorry. She did. The crime that got her where she is currently was a gruesome, brutal crime. She absolutely deserves to be exactly where she is. But it's kind of scary because I looked at Cray saying, "Oh my God, WrestleMania," and whatever. You got anybody that's been here for a minute knows how I roll. So she needs help. She's sick. She's very, very mentally ill, and it's unfortunate. And it makes me, when I look at her, it makes me angry when people like Letitia try to use mental health as a Letitia used it as a get out of jail card. What she wanted was to go to an institution. I don't know why she thought that would be better, but whatever. She doesn't clearly she's got some wrong thinking. So, oh yes, S Hawk, and I covered her whole trial, babe. Got a whole playlist, y'all. Got a whole playlist. So, yeah, I got a whole playlist of this trial. All right, now let's get to what y'all really came for. Let me just, I want to check something really quick. I want to make sure that I don't get any of their music in here. Okay, it's not music. I see what it is now. All right. Hang on just one second. Let me turn on the closed captions. Let me make it. Oh, hold on. Let me fix this. I don't like it when I can't. There we go. All right. Okay. Are y'all ready? This is Lori. Here we go. Of course, you guys know this is a 19-minute, 46-second interview. Also, there are some parts that are muted out there too. And we'll talk about them when they get here. The channel that put this up, I'll share the link so you guys can watch this interview without any commentary if you choose to. I'll drop it now, and then I'll put it here now, and then I'll put it in the description as well. All right, here we go.
Hi, Lori.
See?
Yeah.
Can I put this paper on here, or will it be kind of on the?
Yep. Totally fine.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd like be on camera. My handwriting's really
No, you're
sloppy.
good. We're rolling. I've been so curious to talk to you for a long time. First and foremost, I want to ask you, why did you decide to represent yourself at this trial?
There's lots of reasons. Obviously, being pro per is not an easy job. I'm not an attorney. I don't have training to be an attorney. There's something that I figured out when I got to this jail. You know, this experience has been 5 years running, okay? I went through a whole trial, you know, before in my other state, and then I was brought here to Arizona to face some more serious charges. And I came here with the intention of having a speedy trial, right? I wanted to, these charges came first, right? So they're like 5 years old. So I, you know, first talked to the attorneys. I was like, you know, they've had 5 years, you know, the prosecutors, to put their case together, and I really want to go to trial. Like, we need to go. So I'm in a max pod, you know, with the max women, and there's about 8 women in my pod facing death penalty. And, you know, I was facing the death penalty in Idaho. I was the only one in that jail because it's a very small town and a small jail. But here, these women have been waiting for their trials for 5, 6, 7, 8 years to go to trial in a jail, okay? And then
There's no end then. If they're on, if it is a capital crime, if capital punishment is on the table, these trials take a long time. And the fact of the matter is, if they've been sitting in that jail for that long, Lori, as I'm sure you're aware, they waived their right to a speedy trial because a death penalty case takes a long time to prepare. You need to stop. Also, she did. So as Hockett says, did she say more serious charges? She did say that. I think what she's talking about is, because I've listened to this like 3 times, because at first it hit my ears wrong too. I think what she's saying is the word more is not does not enhance the word serious. What she's using the word more as also, like some more serious charges. I've already had serious charges, and now I have more serious charges. It's a quantity, not a quality. Does that make sense? I think that's what she is trying to say here. I know, because it hit my ears wrong at first too, and now that I'm hearing it like the third time, I feel like that's what she's trying to say. But Lori, you got it. I'm not going to help you, Lori, at all. I'm not going to help you at all, not even a little. Here we go.
During this experience, I've been in 4 different facilities during this experience, right? Because I've been shuffled all over the country, right? Came from Hawaii to Idaho to Boise, back and forth. So I've experienced 5 different facilities now. This is the 5th facility I've been in, and it is the worst.
What exactly about the conditions bothers you the most? Because, everyone's going to say, what did you expect? You've been convicted of multiple murders. So what were you expecting in this jail?
Well, the people.
Okay, I got to say, I have to give a shout out to the interviewer here. She's asking the hard questions. And the fact of the matter is, she's right. What does she expect? What did you expect? And nobody gives a rat's fat kneecap that it's hard for you. We don't.
People that are in this jail haven't been convicted of anything, that are in the same exact situation as I am. They're innocent.
No. You need to, this is what irritates me about people like Lori. All right. When you are arrested and charged and held in jail pending trial, you have the presumption of innocence. That's very different than being actually innocent, Lori. Furthermore, you're not actually innocent of anything. You've been convicted of murder already. You need to stop. Stop playing with these people, Lori.
Innocent right now, and they've been here for 5, 6, 7, 8 years eating slop every day, the same thing every single day, not going out in the sunshine, not having proper medical care, not having proper dental. If something goes wrong with your teeth, you know what the dentist will do from jail? They pull your tooth out. That's it.
So you're fighting for the other inmates here who are waiting for their time in court.
This is what I found out. Arizona, different from other states, and I only know the 2 states because I've only dealt with 2 judicial systems, right, has no intention of giving anybody a speedy trial, even though it's your constitutional federal right.
Again, Lori, there's a difference between you and these other women in many different aspects, I'm sure, but specifically what you're talking about. They've not waived their right to a speedy trial. Okay. That's very different. If you waive your right to a speedy trial, you don't get speed. Okay. You get slow. So stop it. You wouldn't waive your right to a speedy trial. We all know what our constitutional federal rights are. Stop playing. I'm over you already. We're 2 minutes and 57 seconds into it, and I've had enough. All right, here we go. Also, I've watched this like 3 times, so.
Okay. So what I am fighting for these women, I'm fighting for these women and trying to set a precedence here that you can't just leave these women in jail for years, because the conditions at the prison, if you do get convicted, are a million times better than they are at the jail. Jails are not designed. They're not all over the country. Jails are not designed to let you stay long term. The average person in jail goes 3 months. You're in there for 8 years. You've had teeth pulled out all over. You don't have any kind of thing that you need here. So I talked to my attorneys and said, I need to go. And they said, we can't do it because I agreed with them, right? Because I said, from their professional stand, they want to go to court prepared, right?
Of course.
I'm a hairstylist. I used to charge tons and tons of money in Austin, Texas to do hair. So I'm not going to charge someone $400 to do their hair and let them walk out the door and not let it look good, because
That's a lie. I don't know if Melanie Gibb paid you money or you did it for free, but you did not let her walk out that door looking good. That's why she got them tuning fork bangs. You need to stop. Lori, I'm advocating for other people. Let me just ask you this. Where was all this advocation for your children? You sad sack? advocating for other women. You should have advocated for your children. That's who you should have been advocating for. That's who you should have protected, but you didn't. I'm going to rate you right now, Lori. You are a 11 billion point two dark.
because that's my reputation. So I talked to my attorneys. I said, I understand where
Yeah, Melanie Gibb is walking around with your reputation on her head. Terrible.
you're coming from. I understand 100%. I don't want to put you in the position where you're saying, I can't do a good job for you. I can't do this for you in this amount of time. But I've been working on my case for 5 years. So I know my case better than an attorney can learn it in 2 years. But here's the thing. When you waive your speedy trial, then they can keep you here as long as they want. There are intelligent, strong, beautiful women in here that have been here for 8 years because of family tragedies. It's the same like my case. A family tragedy.
No. If it had been I would agree that for people like Colby, your son, this is a family tragedy. But what happened to JJ and Tylee is not a family tragedy, ma'am. It was cold-blooded murder. The end. Okay? Stop trying to make excuses. Stop trying to make justifications. If something had happened that was some kind of accident, why didn't you try to get help? And why is there such a gap in between? Because you know what her theory is. What she's saying happened is Tylee unalived JJ and then she unalived herself. That is lies. You need to stop. You need to stop. You disrespected your children when you allowed that thumb to come into your life. And the two of you, make no mistake, and I've said this a lot of times, okay? Because everybody's like, who was in control? Who was in control? I don't think it in this situation, I don't think it worked like that. I'm going to tell you what I think. I think Chad was the head and Lori was the neck, and the neck can make the head turn any way she wants. Period. That's it. And one cannot exist without the other. A neck cannot exist without a head, and a head cannot exist without a neck. Period. They fed off of each other. They fed off of each other's delusions. They wanted to be somebody, and they went around trying to collect 144,000, but they're off. Meanwhile, they're killing people, which makes no sense. It seems counterproductive. She's ridiculous. And then to add insult to injury, the way that you buried, the way that you allowed those children of yours to be buried. Tylee was burned, for Pete's sake, you disgusting, disgusting piece of shit. Yes, Blanca. Shout out to my big fat Greek wedding for that analogy about the neck and the head, but it's not wrong. And you were money hungry. You guys wanted that money, and the reason why part of the reason, and you need to tell the truth. You need to get right or get left, Lori. You need to tell the truth. A huge part of the reason that you want to go pro se or pro per is because you are petty and vindictive, and you are livid that Charles had the unmitigated gall to remove you as a beneficiary after he found out you were blinking a thumb. Chad, excuse me. And then he changed the beneficiary and he made Kay Woodcock his life insurance beneficiary. You were mad about it when you found out, and you're still mad about it today. You haven't moved away from any of that anger. You still blame Kay, and you took JJ's life because you're petty and selfish. And Tylee's life too, because she was in your way. Period, the end. And you want to represent yourself so that you can question Kay. That's what you're looking forward to. Stop it. Ridiculous. Out here acting like you're advocating for someone. The only thing you're advocating for is hot Cheeto dust, which is your rouge and your lipstick.
not a crime, a family tragedy. And they're waiting and they're facing the death penalty for a family tragedy. I know these women. I talk to them every day. I try to uplift, strengthen, and help women in this jail. And I think that's the purpose why I'm here.
You try to uplift and strengthen women. Meanwhile, remind me again? I wish I had something in front of me to refresh my recollection, but I'm pretty sure you referred to Tammy as your friend Tammy. But I'm not sure that most people would classify you being a friend if you were banging her husband while she's still married and then orchestrating her murder. That seems indicative of a friendship. Okay, I don't have friends like that. You don't care. You don't want to uplift women. You see women as as competition. You see women as in your way. Hell, you see everybody as in your way. You don't just limit it to women. Everybody. And if they're not doing what you want when you want, they're in your way, and therefore they must be gotten rid of.
Can you define family tragedy for me?
Yeah.
Obviously, you were convicted of killing your kids. Where does that
Wrongly
disconnect?
convicted.
You believe wrongly convicted.
Absolutely, 100%.
So then, how do you address that? You were convicted of it. They're not here. So what happened? Okay.
Can we cut for just a second?
So you can see here at the bottom where it says it was muted at the request of her attorney. The attorney who's assisting her in this case doesn't want her talking about this.
To your point, you're not an attorney.
Correct.
You know your case, but you're not an attorney.
Correct.
How do you expect this is going to work for you next week and in these months to come, acting as your own lawyer?
It's going to be an entire dumpster fire. And it makes me, while I want to watch it, it also angers me because I feel like she's going to make an ass out of herself. And the purpose of this trial is to get justice for Charles Vallow. And that makes me angry that she's going to do what she's going to do. Like she's not representing herself because she wants to advocate and be whatever, or, her lawyers couldn't get her a speedy trial. They couldn't be prepared in enough time. That's not why she's doing it. She's doing it because she's petty, because she wants to go at some of the state's witnesses. That's what it is about for her. And I can't. Let me just stop and play this for you guys because I'm going to get completely out of control. I can already feel it coming.
I have help. I have a wonderful team that I got to hire, which is great. I have my paralegal. That's wonderful. I have my investigator. I have my advisory council that helps me. I'm just going to do the best that I can. That's all I can do. I'm trying to help the women here. Like, something that happens in Arizona that didn't happen in Idaho, something that's different, is there they really respect your right to a speedy trial. And so I wouldn't waive my speedy trial, and they finally pushed it to trial. The judge does go over, and for any reason, they can move your speedy trial out, right? But here, the first time you go to court here, if your attorney stands up for you and says, oh, we're going to need more time because you were supposed to go in 4 months, right? You have a certain amount of time and you're supposed to go in 150 days. And if your attorney says that, it automatically waives your right to a speedy trial. So the women that are here and their attorneys say, we're going to help you, we're going to put your case together, we're going to do all this stuff, they didn't know the first time that their speedy trial got waived, because they're like me. I mean, I was 46 years old when I got arrested. I've never been arrested before. I didn't know how the judicial system worked. They're in the same boat. So they didn't actually know at the time that they were waiving their speedy trial right.
Okay. Lori, I forgot what I was going to say, but I have to pause for fair use commentary. She's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. I can't with her. I cannot. I had something else to say. It'll come back to me, but I do have to pause for fair use commentary. So here we go. Let me go back 5 seconds. They're in the same boat as me. Get out of here. Are all of them goddesses too? Get bent, Lori.
They didn't actually know at the time that they were waiving their speedy trial right.
I've been in the courtroom for some of this, and then I've watched it as well. When you're addressing the judge and the state, you can get a little snappy with them, and I know you're upset with what you feel as witnesses that are being precluded from the trial. What's your biggest complaint? What do you want to see happen? And is that the tone that you want to take throughout this trial?
I don't think that I'm trying to set a tone. That's not my intention, is to set a tone. And I'm not a fighter.
All right, let me stop you right there. She didn't ask you if you're trying to set a tone. What she said is, are you going to take that tone? Which means you're snarky. I don't have an inside voice. I interrupt and I'm mad. That's your tone. You're not setting a tone. Ridiculous. You're feisty, and stop saying that you're not a fighter. You are, you absolutely are. The difference but you're an undercover fighter. Okay? You're the scary kind of fighter, because what you do is you plant little seeds in the men around your life to rescue you, right? All the things are going that Charles is dark and he's blah, 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 you know, on and on and on and on until they finally feel like they got to rescue this damsel in distress. You are no damsel in distress, ma'am, at all. You are a fighter. Stop playing with these people. And by the way, how come you're giving, let me ask you in a way that you might understand. Let me quote Tisha Lynn for y'all. Why come you're giving an interview? Didn't you just have a whole bitch fit like a month ago because you didn't want your trial to be broadcast on TV, to be streamed? I mean, you guys saw that, right? This isn't something I made up in my brain, is it? I'm not having a delusion, am I? Pretty sure that's what you argued. But you're over here giving interviews. You know what that tells me? That tells me you want to control things. You only want your story told by you in the way that you want it told. Period. The end. You need to stop. Ugh.
Okay, so my whole life I've been a peacemaker. I'm a person that loves everybody. I'm a person that gets along with everybody. I don't like to fight. So this is a challenge for me to even fight for myself.
I'm sorry, you guys. It has to be done. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
S. Hockett, yes, they are going to stream it. And guess who will be playing it every single day? Your girl. Absolutely. I will be in court Monday through Thursday, not in court. I will stream the court proceedings Monday through Thursday. They don't have court on Friday. I will be here. Promise, promise. All right, here we go.
To fight for these women, to kind of stand up for the first time in my life, because I'm kind of been, I'm a people pleaser by nature. And it's been really difficult.
You're a people pleaser by nature? Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? This is my face currently. Let me just show you guys. Give me just a second here. A people pleaser. You are a people pleaser. Yeah. I don't know many people pleasers that kill people.
Difficult for me, but there's so many wrongs in the system. There's certain things that your attorneys won't say for you, because here's the problem. Your attorneys, they're professionals, right? So they're colleagues with the prosecutors, they're colleagues with the judges. And I get that, because I've worked in a professional environment, so I get that. You have to be, they argue their points, and then they go out to lunch. Like, I get that, right? I'm not doing that. I'm fighting for my life here, really.
There's this notion from people in the public that feel you're representing yourself because you have nothing to lose, that this is a challenge, kind of a show, a game for you. Do you agree with that?
It's me. I'm people.
I never hear any of this stuff because I'm in a room 23 hours a day and we don't have any access to any kind of news. So
wait a minute. Back the milk truck up. Didn't you just argue in court Was it not? Wasn't it? Was it Monday or Tuesday that she argued in court that she'd seen every interview that Nate did? So you do watch news. You do know that because in between those interviews is Nate's commentary. Okay. You need to, Lori, the lies, the lies, the lies. Mm-mm-mm.
Or any kind of anything, really. Like,
So you do have access to news or any kind of anything, really. Weren't you just in court a couple of days ago also having a bitch fit about some footage that you think exists that doesn't actually exist because somebody showed you something at some point? Did you even read the YouTube description? It's very clear what what you watched that everybody online has seen. Girl, bye.
I didn't know that people were saying that, but I wouldn't agree with that, obviously.
What's your mindset going into trial? What do you believe now, and how do you feel as we're just a couple days away?
My mindset, her mindset is crazy AF, but not like insane. You know what I mean? Crazy, like she has no F's to give. She doesn't give a rat's fat kneecap about any of this. She doesn't give a rat's fat kneecap about respecting the judicial process. She doesn't give a rat's fat kneecap about etiquette. She doesn't give a rat's fat kneecap about any of this. This, in Lori's mind, is all temporary because she still thinks she's chosen. Yeah. Chosen as a demon.
A little bit stressed.
It's a big case.
It's a big case. It's stressful. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of legal things that have to be done. We're working on stuff every day. We're working late into the night. The biggest challenge for me in this trial will be the logistics. I want to be able to go and talk to the people who have stood up and lied about me. I get to face them face to face. I think that's important. So the hardest thing is here, they wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to court every single day. And you sit and you sit and you sit and you wait, but you're woken up and you're transported and you're getting back to the jail at like 5 and 6 o'clock at night. I'm going to have to prep for the next day for my witnesses. I'm going to have to meet with people. I'm going to have my, paralegal's going to come over. We're going to get paperwork ready. We're going to get, our stuff ready for the next day. So the hardest thing, it'll be lack of sleep. Nobody does good with lack of sleep.
Are you worried?
Hold on a minute, Lori. This all falls under the category of not anybody else's problem. You chose to represent yourself. So when you're representing yourself, you have to do all the work. Shut up, Lori.
Worried about the legal things you don't know?
Obviously, there's lots of legal things that I don't know. I have been studying. I've been studying a lot the law. I've been studying it for 5 years. I've been talking with attorneys. I had a team of 11 people in Idaho, some really, really smart people. People were brought in all over the country from different states and everything because I was a death penalty case. And so I learned from a lot of people. And I'm a smart person, and I paid attention. I consider myself an intelligent person, like a lot of these other women here in this jail.
Smart people know what they don't know. And so when it comes to representing themselves, if they've never gone to law school, they are not an attorney, they rely on their attorney.
And, we're trying to do the best that we can. I know it's not going to be perfect the way an attorney would do it. So that's when people say, like, she has nothing to lose. Like, I don't necessarily think that I'm going to do a better job than the attorneys can do. That's not my intention. My intention is to say the things that I would say for myself. I mean, I sat there during a whole trial and I discussed a lot of things with my attorneys and asked them to say very specific certain things that were important to me, just as a person, as a human being. These things are important that you say this for me, and they wouldn't say it. So
they wouldn't say it. You mean you understand that attorneys can't get up there and lie, okay? They're not allowed to just make up something out of whole cloth. And I would imagine some of the things that you wanted them to say were ridiculous and preposterous, and they ethically couldn't say them. You idiot.
And I get the professionalism and I get what they're doing, but sometimes you just have to be able to do it for yourself.
You want to be your own voice.
Yeah.
Going over your case and all of it for years, I mean, it seemed like you had the life that so many wanted in Arizona. You had it all.
I loved our life here. Yeah.
Why are we here? Like, why are we at the place we're at now? You had that life. Why throw it away?
It's tragedy. Families have tragedies. Things happen, and there was a domino effect of tragedies in my life, and that's really sad.
What do you describe that
There was a domino effect of tragedies in your life, and it's really sad. All right, let's go with that. You set the dominoes up and you knocked the dominoes over. Let me just say this, Lori. The calls are coming from inside the house. The problem is you. These things didn't happen to you. These things happened because of you.
domino effect of what?
Things happen, and there was a domino effect of tragedies in my life, and that's really sad.
What do you describe that domino effect of what?
It's probably something that we should save for next time.
Do you still believe in those things of the dark and the light spirits and the zombies? Is that still part of your belief system, or have you changed your beliefs?
Hold on a minute. She answers that question. So what we're going to do real quick is I'm going to rewind it and I'm going to turn this, I'm going to watch it again, and let's see if we can figure out what she says, because she starts to answer that question and then she stopped. So let's go back just a scooch. Let me play her.
You changed your beliefs.
Let me turn the settings down just a little bit. Let me make it about there. I think she said, I never said.
Belief system, or have you changed your beliefs?
No, I have never said that was part of my belief system. What do you guys think? You think that's pretty accurate? We can go back if you want. Let's go back one more time. Normally, I don't have patience for this, but I think this is really, really important.
Changed your beliefs.
No, I have never said that was part of my belief system. All right, we'll put it back to regular speed, and you guys let me know in the comments if you think that's what she said there. That is my opinion of what she said. I'm not a lip reader, so this is my unprofessional. I just looked at the footage and slowed it down, the end. The attorney is saying that they're going to give this answer after the trial. Hey, while we wait for Lori to
Do
be...
you consider you and Chad
Hold
still
on.
together?
Gross. Before I play the rest of this part, can you guys do me a favor? And if you haven't done so, can you give me a thumbs up on the stream? I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, let's keep going.
Sure, of course.
And how was that going to work with you? He's on death row and you are in prison for life. How do you continue that relationship,
Portals.
that marriage?
In the best way that you can, the only way that you can.
What is the only way that
What
you
do you
can?
think people
Wait a
have
minute,
wrong
wait a
about
minute, wait
you?
a minute. Back the milk truck up in the best way that you can, in the only way that you can. Girl, I don't even know what that means. Y'all aren't allowed to communicate. You're not supposed to be allowed to communicate. Let me say that. What do you think people have wrong about you? Literally nothing. We're all right.
Pretty much everything.
Like what?
Specifically,
Yeah, specifically. Get specific.
I don't really know what people think because I don't have access to the kind of media that you guys are watching all these things. I never get to watch anything. So I hear things from different people. I get text messages from people saying, oh, so-and-so said such and such. And I'm like, okay.
Which is it? Do you not know what people say, or do people tell you what people say? Because it can't be both ways. One of those is not true. One of those is an untrue statement. One of those is a lie, because there's a difference between misspeaking and lying. That's a lie. Lying is knowing the answer and then saying something opposite of the correct answer. That's lie is intentional. You as a liar and a murderer. I'm not wrong about that.
I don't have access to what the people know, so I kind of can't clear it up because kind of don't know what it all is.
If you could clear something up right now, what would it be?
That I love everybody, that I'm here for a purpose. I think, God put me here in this jail, the worst jail in the country, they say, and I really can't argue it. But when I got here, the girls are like, did you know that you got brought to the worst jail in the country? And I was like, I can't argue that it's not. But he brought me here to help uplift and strengthen these women, and that's what I try to do every day.
Absolutely not. Let me tell you what needs to happen to you, Lori. Now, listen, I understand that you have a right to a trial, so I'm not going to get in the middle of that. But let me tell you how you should be warehoused in preparation for this trial, the duration of the trial, and into your next trial, and then when they move you back to Idaho. All right, you need to be stored like Annabelle in a great big glass box with a big, huge warning label on the front of it, directing people not to talk and not to touch. That's how you need to be stored. Girl.
I'm a certified group fitness instructor, and I worked here at Fitness Works and taught aerobics. And so I teach a workout to the girls every day. We laugh together, we cry together, we pray together. We're all in our separate cells. We're in there 23 hours a day. So we just talk to each other through the cell doors, right? Like each of us get out an hour a day and we can talk to each other through the door. We have to take our shower and whatever. But this jail, some days you'll be in your cell for 3 days. They go on lockdown and you don't get out for 72 hours. You're just in your room. So I'm here to help strengthen these other women. Sometimes God needs somebody to go into the trenches.
I'm not going to argue with that sometimes God might need people to go into the trenches, right? He also gave you he gave you 3 children, right? And you murdered 2 of them. I don't understand how you can say out of one side of your aging like milk face that you love everybody and yet be the murderer of 2 children, whether they died at your hands or not. I suspect they did. I suspect that you're a get your hands dirty kind of gal because you're a control freak. But regardless, you had a hand in it one way or another. They're your children. They're God's most precious gifts, and you murdered them. So how do you love everybody? Everybody would include your children. Ho.
And I think he put me here for that purpose.
A follow-up question to what you said, that you love everybody. Does that include your children?
Absolutely. I love my children. I've always loved my children. There's never been a question.
Even being convicted of killing them?
Wrongly. Of course.
Hold on a
Do you
second.
plan to take the stand yourself?
Hey, I don't know what you guys are talking about in the chat. Oh no, what happened? Hold on, let me look. Hold on, let me see when we're back. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I can see myself on the stream. I'm back. There's a copyright match tool, and nobody did a report on the stream. It's because I am using under fair use True Crime Arizona, not claiming it to be mine, but because they employed the copyright match tool on this interview, YouTube paused my stream. So there you have it. So if you missed it, I'm not going to keep this up. I mean, I suppose that I could sit and fight it. I did use fair use, but I can't like start the stream or finish where we left off either. Let me see how much longer we had. There was 4 minutes left. So hold on a minute. I know there's a way to do this. Let me see something here. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'll play the audio from my phone on the rest of this, and that's how we'll do it. And then I probably will have to delete the stream because of that. I don't know, because part of me doesn't really want to fight it, honestly. It's tedious. It takes a while. What's the last thing you guys heard? Do you guys remember what the last thing you heard was? Hold on. All right, I'll just start that whole segment over. Here we go.
Specifically, I don't really know what people think because I don't have access to the kind of media that you guys are watching all these things. I never get to watch anything. So I hear things from different people. I get text messages from people saying, oh, so-and-so said such and such. And I'm like, okay, I don't have access to what the people know. So I kind of can't clear it up because kind of don't know what it all is. If you could clear something up right now, what would it be? That I love everybody, that I'm here for a purpose. I think, God put me here in this jail, the worst jail in the country, they say, and I really can't argue it. But when I got here, the girls were like, did you know that you got brought to the worst jail in the country? And I was like, I can't argue that it's not. But he brought me here to help uplift and strengthen these women. And that's what I try to do every day. I'm a certified group fitness instructor, and I worked here at Fitness Works and taught aerobics. And so I teach a workout to the girls every day. We laugh together, we cry together, we pray together. We're all in our separate cells. We're in there 23 hours a day. So we just talk to each other through the cell doors, right? Like each of us get out an hour a day and we can talk to each other through the door. We have to take our shower and whatever. But this jail,
Oh, hold on a second.
Some days you'll be in your cell for 3 days.
Hold on a second. What happened to texting people? I thought you and Chad could text people. Did you lose that power? Get out of here, Lori. You're so freaking ridiculous.
They go on lockdown and you don't get out for 72 hours. You're just in your room. So I'm here to help strengthen these other women. Sometimes God needs somebody to go into the trenches. And I think he put me here for that purpose.
Oh my God, shut up.
To what you said, that you love everybody. Does that include your children? Absolutely. I love my children. I've always loved my children. There's never been a question. Even being convicted of killing them. Wrongly? Mm-hmm. Of course. Do you plan to take the stand yourself in your own trial? I haven't decided yet. Don't need to decide that. Legally, you don't have to decide. So we're going to see how it goes. And that would be a situation if you did decide where your investigator or somebody would ask the questions to you on the stand? Yes. Okay. That was my understanding too. I just want to make sure I was correct on that as well. Well, my understanding is that the advisory council would have to do that. Yeah.
Right. That's exactly how that works. So, wow. There's all kinds of chaos in this place right now. Hold on.
But I would have to write the questions. They can't ask me anything that I don't. And you have to pre-submit those. You can't just go up there and say what you want.
No, you can't testify in a narrative.
That's my understanding. That's my understanding. It was my understanding as well. This is probably one of the more unprecedented situations you were involved in choosing your own jury. As a non-attorney, what was that process like for you? That was an interesting process. I mean, it went way better than I thought it was going to go.
Hold on.
Process in Idaho is so different. It was interesting for me because it was so different, and I have had that experience, so I was like, I kind of know what's going to happen here. But every state is different, right? Every county is different. Everyone's going to have their own rules of how they did it. I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised that the judge was very fair in doing the jury selection in some ways. So I think it went really well. It went really fast. I didn't expect that. I thought it would take a long time. So I feel like it went as well as it could go. Are you nervous for Monday?
You need to be nervous.
I try not to get nervous about things and go with the flow as much as possible. It's not just Monday. It's like, it's every day. It's going to be day after day. So I got to kind of pace myself and just do the best that I can. Do you believe you can convince this jury, to find you not guilty? I don't think I'm there to convince anybody. I think I'm there to just tell the truth.
Oh my God. You don't even hold on a minute. Let me just say this. Okay? That's not what you're there to do. You're not there to tell. Oh my God. Bruh. You're there to oh. All you're there to do is create reasonable doubt. Really, that's what it is, okay? If you're trying to tell the truth and you're not going to, if your purpose is to tell the truth and you're not taking the stand, which even if you did take the stand, it wouldn't be the truth because you're a lying liar mouth who tells lies, but still, Lori, oh my God. All right, let's finish this up. We only have like 2 minutes left.
Be found not guilty. I think that's a goal. Yeah, that's the goal of everybody, but I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm defending myself against being wrongfully accused. So, wrongfully accused of Charles' death as well? Absolutely. What do you want the jury to take away from you during this trial? I don't know that they can take anything away. I mean, I don't really have an answer for that. I haven't really thought about it from that perspective. Are you prepared for a life behind bars? Sure. How? What do you do to prepare that to be the rest of your life? My life is mostly over because I'm 51 years old.
Oh my God.
So I'm a mother and a grandmother and all those things. I've had a wonderful life. I did have a wonderful life for, a long time. So it's just a different life, in my faith, we're called on missions to go do things.
Oh, Jesus, fuck. You are not on a mission, Lori.
This kind of scenario in my mind that I was like, if, my bishop called me in and said, we have this really hard calling for you. It's going to be for the rest of your life. And you're going to go into this prison and where all these women are, and you're going to help and uplift and strengthen women and give them faith.
Oh my God.
And do these things and help them get ready for when they get out of prison. But you're going to be there all the time and you're going to be there for the rest of your life. Will you accept this calling? Would you say yes? Absolutely. So you feel this is kind of a newfound purpose with the situation you're in.
She thinks she's on a mission from God and a calling. Lori.
To impress upon people that have followed you and your case for years. Like right now, we've got a few minutes left. I want to know, what should the public know about Lori that they don't know? That I am a Christian person, that I love the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and that I'm here on earth to do whatever he needs me to do.
Oh my
really
gosh.
appreciate your time.
Yeah, we don't. We all really appreciate. Thanks, Lori. Hold on a sec. So there you have it, folks. Lori is still ridiculous. She thinks she's on some crazy ass mission. And she wants everybody to know that she loves everybody and she's a Christian and blah 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 blah, which is all bullshit, Lori. What you need, what people know about you is the truth. That's that you're a monster. You're selfish. You think of only yourself. God had nothing to do with this. You're ridiculous. All right, you guys. I am gonna end it here. I will be back live tomorrow night. We're going to do like a whole recap, and I'll probably have some more choice words for Lori. And I'm not going to keep this up because honestly, I don't really want to mess with fighting the copyright match tool. I just don't, it just doesn't, it's not that important to me. So I'm going to end it. I'll talk to you guys. Hold on, let me fix something really quick before I end it. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Bye.